Hi, everybody. I am Jessica Koch. I am the host of Profound Professionals, and we have had the honor for the last several years to feature amazing individuals from all different industries from all over the world who are doing their line of work with an out of the box spin. So they're such profound professionals. And more than that, and beyond that, touching lives in what they do best and with their passion, they also are touching the community and causes in the world in an amazing way. Today, we have the honor of having Kevin Wayne Johnson as our guest. Welcome, Kevin.
Hello there. Glad to be with you. Thank you so much for the invitation.
My pleasure. Kevin wants you to know better, do better, and lead better based on his teaching, mentoring, and coaching. So, how did you get into this leadership, mentoring, coaching space on your journey? Because I know you had a whole life before that.
Absolutely. So it's a culmination of really three things. Number one, I was born into a military family. So my dad is a U.S. Marine. He's doing well even today. He's 85 years young.
Yay.
And he still thinks he can take me. And I let him think that he can do so. But growing up in a military household taught me very early about what leadership and discipline was all about, because that's what they live. So fast forward, after I graduate from college, Virginia Commonwealth University in my hometown of Richmond, Virginia, federal government. And I end up staying there for 34 years. I really enjoyed that career as a frontline, mid-level, and senior level leader. I had a chance to see good leadership up close and personal, and I got a chance to experience bad leadership up close and personal. And the former feels much better than the latter. But in addition to that, I've also served in ministry as a ministry leader, serving the local church as a deacon, an associate pastor, and a senior pastor. So I've seen leadership from a number of different vantage points and circles. And it really led me to, when I retired from the federal government 5 years ago, to really embark upon a journey of pouring into the current and next generation of leaders, because the better the leader, the better the organization and the better the team. If we can develop and sustain and maintain a cadre of good leaders, it'll help to make the world a much better place, because leaders understand that it's more than just acumen and intelligence and subject matter expertise, but it's also how you go about caring and valuing and respecting and honoring those that we're leading. When those two intersect, now we're on our way to actually experiencing and observing good leadership. So I'm spending this season of life really laser focused on that. And it's been a wonderful, wonderful journey.
So I'm going to put you on the spot because I didn't ask you this in our prep, but from a leadership standpoint, do you have someone you really look up to? Like, I don't know if you have a special certification with a special organization or group or individual, or a book, or just someone in the leadership space that you've really admired. Because I have one and I want to share mine, but I want to know yours first. So you share with me yours and I'll share with you mine.
Absolutely. It'll be my honor. So there are many men and women in the marketplace that I absolutely admire in terms of their leadership. But who I have learned from the most is John Maxwell.
Yeah, I love him too.
He has taught me the most by way of what he teaches, and then the character in terms of how he carries himself.
Well, I'm going to put myself on the spot and make myself look a little bit silly because I know the books this individual wrote, and I can actually see his face in an interview that I watched. That I will try to find this interview link and include it in the article and in the comments later because it was amazing. It's the individual who wrote The 1 Minute Manager, and his name doesn't come to the top of my head right away, but he also did and developed a program, and I think it's even a book, is Lead Like Jesus. And I listened to a YouTube interview with him, and it was very fascinating to me because he wasn't very spiritual or religious at all, like didn't have, that wasn't much part of his life when he wrote The 1 Minute Manager, but The 1 Minute Manager took him on a journey of that experience. And I just find that so fascinating. And then I keep that on my, go to read again list. Like I have a list of books, like Think and Grow Rich and, Getting Things Done and Eat That Frog. Like there's a couple of books you just got to read more than once, and that's definitely on my read it again list. So
excellent. Well, that's an excellent book, and it's really interesting how our journey starts and how we manage the journey and then how we get to that destination. Every one of us has a slightly different story, but it's all a result of having a spark lit by somebody in our lives who was really a phenomenal leader at that particular point, specifically when we needed it. And that's the difference maker for all of us.
Well, and it also can be the spark of, like you said, a leader on the other end that inspired someone to make a huge change because they didn't want to see other people going through that kind of experience again. So I think it's interesting that people can have good childhood or bad childhood, and that can be what motivates them to be this great person, great human. Some people blame their bad childhood on the fact that they're not living their best life, and then some people blame the fact that their childhood was challenging, which is now why they are living their best life. So it depends on, it's not about what you experience, but how you choose to respond to it, your reaction, your mindset. So what is it like to work with Kevin? So are they, getting your book, going to an in-person event? Are they going to an online event? Is it live? Is it recorded? How do they actually get this great information that you have from your brain to theirs?
Well, it's a multitude of different channels because we reach men and women in government, in corporations, in nonprofit organizations, in churches, and in academic institutions. Those are the men and women that we serve. So I do in-person as well as virtual leadership development training. That also includes the assessment tools for leadership style, behavioral style, personality, emotional intelligence, and DISC. So all of that is kind of embedded. I'm also a certified mentor and a certified executive coach. And so we provide those services also in person and virtual, considering the times in which we live. And then I'm also a professional and certified speaker where we are available for the in-person events as well as virtual. So whether it's a summit, a conference, a convention, a particular program, a day-long workshop, a full week of training, all of our curriculum is really tailored to meet that particular audience. Like I said, across all 5 of those different venues in the marketplace at the 3 different levels. The front line, those that are just getting into leadership and really need to understand the nuances. The mid-level, those that have maybe been doing it for a while, but there comes a point where they want to straddle the fence. They've had enough. And so Kevin comes in and kind of helps them to kind of figure out, should they continue on that path, or maybe they should take a different journey. And then our senior leaders who are pretty well equipped in terms of what they know and how to do it. But every now and again, we need a refresher. Things
Mhm.
change, technology changes, principles and strategies might be different. There's more conversations going on now about diversity, equity, and inclusion. I'm
Mhm.
certified in that space as well. And then I also facilitate strategic planning meetings.
Mm.
A lot of organizations now are having offsite strategic planning sessions to have an honest conversation around, should our folks come back in the office or should they remain
Mhm.
virtual, or are we just going to settle for hybrid? And what does that look like, and what do we do? So it
Mhm.
may be a 2 or 3 day strategic planning retreat at an offsite. I come in and I facilitate that for them and come up with an action plan. So, but it's all centered around developing the workforce, the current and next generation of leaders, really to do three things, like you said in the intro: know better, then do better, and then ultimately lead better. Those are the three mantras that we live by. It's sort of the theme that undergirds what we do. We want people to know, and now we want you to convert that to action, which is do. And then once you do that, then ultimately you will lead better. And again, better leaders help to make our world a much better place.
So let me ask you, is your ideal client someone with an organization that has, 50 or more employees or 100 or more employees, or is it also, does this also include just that individual company owner or business owner who doesn't, maybe they have a virtual team, or they don't, maybe they just have 2 or 3 employees and they're starting to grow that side of their business? Like, what is the best fit customer for you?
Yeah, so we've learned over the years that always being adaptable and flexible to meet the needs of the customer and the client. So you
Mhm.
mentioned that X number of employees in a given organization.
Mhm.
Regardless of the size of the organization, within that organization, there are teams of individuals inside of different units and divisions. So it could be a team of 10 people that we get together and have a conversation with and walk through a workshop. Or it could be a group of 250 people that I may stand in front of on a stage behind a podium with a microphone and do more of a keynote for maybe an hour, talking about how to be a more effective communicator. So we've had all day sessions with groups as small as 5, and I've had week-long sessions with groups as many as 120. It just really depends, and it can be in person and it can be virtual, because we use 5 different technology platforms virtually. And then I love to travel, so I'm always more than happy to be in person, to meet and greet and have a conversation with those that we're interacting with. So it really does depend, and whether it's a nonprofit or an academic institution or a corporation or a government agency, they come in all different shapes and sizes. Our programs are tailored to meet that need for that audience. So whether it's 8 or 25 or 1,500, we have something for them to make sure that it fits their mission and vision, and ultimately the desired outcome that we agree to right up front during the negotiations.
Well, that's really good to know. Now, the next thing I'm going to ask you to do is share with us something actionable that someone could apply to their life today to be a better leader and to step up, something that you can give them. But before I do that, is there anything else about your business that we didn't cover yet that you wanted to share?
Well, the name of the business is the Johnson Leadership Group. We're located in Clarksville, Maryland,
Mhm.
here in the United States of America. And under that umbrella, I lead primarily as the lead facilitator in training, but I do have a nice, diverse team of 10 certified men and women that are also a part of the team in terms of delivering the content, whether it's about growth or influence or communication, emotional intelligence, diversity, equity, and inclusion, et cetera. So I
Mhm.
wanted to make sure that everyone understood and knew the name of the company, the Johnson Leadership Group.
Well, that's important to share. All right. So, with that said, can you share with us something that might make a difference in our leadership style or ability, or just something that you think that is pretty simplistic for them to step forward and apply?
Yeah, so let me just go back and I want to unpack just a little bit what I said earlier because I don't want people to miss it. It's one of the most important things that we share, and we want everyone to understand, whether you're an aspiring leader or you're currently leading. It's really important to understand this. You gain credibility as a leader based on what you know. That's undeniable, that's verifiable, that's validatable, and it's measurable. Leaders that show up, that know their stuff, gain credibility from their team and their organization and their company or their government agency. So your subject matter expertise and your intel and your acumen is valued and respected. Here's where we need to understand what leadership is all about. The people that we are entrusted to lead are counting on us for resources, for development, for training, and for opportunities to advance. And unless the leader demonstrates genuinely and authentically that we care for the people that we're leading, that we trust them, we honor them, we value them, and we respect them as people, not as workers. We're there to get work done. I get it. We get paid, we get benefits, we get vacation. I get it. But the leader that demonstrates that they actually care about the people that they are entrusted to lead, that makes for the best leader, because then they'll want to produce. There's a saying that all of us are familiar with, and you've heard it many times, but it's worth repeating. And it goes as follows: people don't really care how much you know until they first know how much you care. That is so true. So if leaders embrace and align with what's in the heart and what's in the mind, now we're on our way to leading phenomenal organizations, teams, and people, because people want to follow. And
Yeah.
the last thing that we want as a leader is a team of people that show up every day and don't want to be there because of us.
Yeah, I totally agree. Well, one of the reasons we started Profound Professionals is because when I found brilliant individuals like you who are taking a different approach in their space, almost 100% of the time, they were also really involved and concerned in some way with a cause they started themselves, or a cause they supported in their community, or a cause they supported somewhere in the world, that were touching other people's lives. And I thought, this isn't an accident, right? What makes people profound and out of the box thinkers also connects them to amazing individuals and humans. And so share with us a little bit about a cause that you support and care about.
All right. Well, many, many years ago, I learned more about, and I began a partnership with World Vision. World Vision gives you and I an opportunity to sponsor a child overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's a little girl named Marie, when she was about 3 or 4 years old, that I signed up for to sponsor. She lives in Rwanda, Africa. Teenager now. It's been that long, and for just a small donation of $35
How
a
old is
month,
she? How old is she now?
she's 17 now.
Wow.
So I've been going strong with it for all of these years. What's really interesting about World Vision is you stay in touch with the child or the family that you're sponsoring. So for $35 a month, you have an opportunity to interact at Easter, Christmas, Thanksgiving, for birthdays.
Yeah.
You get mail that comes to your home, that from World Vision, that you get a chance to write a nice little note and sign it, put it in the mail, send it back. Everything goes through them. And she's in one of the townships there in Rwanda. And it started when she was about 3 years old. Her name is Marie. And it brings a big smile to your face because for just a small donation, you know that you're making a really, really big difference in the life of another person. So it's been about probably 13, 14 years now. And I found out about it through a church convention that I went to, and they had a table, an exhibitor table, and I stopped by, and I was just led to sign up and contribute, and I haven't stopped ever since.
See, and now you may have just inspired by sharing that the next 3, 5, 100 people who hear this video to say, oh, you know what? Maybe I'll look into that. Maybe I'll do that too. And maybe they'll sponsor someone for another 20 years.
There you go.
Going forward. I wonder if they ever have opportunities to actually go to the townships and meet the families and meet the people. Wouldn't that be something?
Yeah, I think so. I did reach out during the pandemic. Well, as the pandemic was winding down, I reached out to say, I would love the opportunity to come at some point, but they haven't opened up that door yet. But that's definitely my goal. Yes.
That would be really, really cool. I know I work with a lot of our team, and they're everywhere from, Nigeria and Pakistan and South Africa and a lot of these countries that really, really struggle. And I have made such close relationships with the families from the teams that are part of, our company. And, I know that one of our long-term goals is to take a trip and, meet some of these families and things in person. So, that's really, really beautiful. Now, as all of our Profound Professional followers, if you're watching me and you're watching again, you already know Jessica loves books. And if she gets a hot minute and an extra second with an amazing guest like Kevin, she's going to say, all right, Kevin, we need to add some more amazing books to our book list. What books have inspired your life or grown your business, or you just feel everyone should know about? First of all, do you have any books you've written yourself?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. So I am the author of Leadership with a Servant's Heart. These are the first two in the series. As you notice, the same title, but if you look at the bottom, a slightly different subtitle.
Right.
And so it's all about really helping my readers around the globe better understand what I've articulated as it relates to subject matter expertise and what's in the heart. So leadership with the servant's heart. And I always emphasize the heart because the scriptures remind us that we are to guard the heart with all diligence because from it flows the issues of life. And what it's referring to for those of us in the leadership community is to be very much aware that compassion and empathy and respect, honor, value, and care for others is just as important as what we know. And when we can align those and when they come in agreement, that's what makes the best leaders. And so the books are just an extension of what we do as a part of the Johnson Leadership Group to reach the audiences that are out there that really thirst and hunger for this type of information. And so I'm really, really pleased that the first book in the series, the publishing industry has embraced. It earned 9 literary awards. It was a 2-time Amazon new release bestseller. And I'm really appreciating all the readers around the globe. And then the latest one here was just released just about a month and a half ago. It's new in the marketplace and it's gaining momentum. We're talking about leading through personal relationships, number one, and then secondly, how you go about leading in the workplace. And I tell you, Jessica, when I go back and look at both of those books, I wrote them, but when I go back and look at them periodically, I'm amazed that I actually had that in me to put into these books. But I'm equally thankful and grateful for the many readers around the world that have given us some really, really good comments, some good book reviews, and good support from the publishing industry. And all of 2023, I will be on a national book tour. We're going to 20 cities. And then later this year, we'll be in Kenya, Africa, and also in the nation of Dubai later in 2023.
We have team members from these places you're listing, so I love that.
Yeah.
Is there a book not written by Kevin that also inspired your life or your growth of your business?
Yeah. So the late Dr. Miles Monroe, who pastored the faith ministries, Bahamas Faith Ministries International in Nassau, Bahamas, he wrote a book called Understanding Your Potential. This book goes way back, about 30 years. And it really touched me when I read through it. A pretty small book, probably about maybe 120 pages, paperback, but it talked about your potential. And isn't it amazing that so many people don't get an opportunity because somebody figures that, oh, they don't have the potential to do that. And we just bypass so many people who are gifted, who can be world changers. So it touched me, and it still stays with me. He's no longer with us. Him and his wife died tragically, unfortunately, in a plane accident many years ago. But I had a chance to meet some of his founding members there at the church there in Nassau, Bahamas. I follow his teachings. I follow his books. But that one in particular, Understanding Your Potential, Dr. Miles Monroe, was a game changer for me decades ago. And I still have a copy of it in my library.
I love that. And we will try to get a hold of the name of the book and the author again and post that in the article that we'll have covering Kevin's interview here, as well as in the comments. So if you're watching and following, also make sure you get links to buy Kevin's books if you're interested in looking at that. And that will all be included. So I think we have covered a lot of things here today. And so what I'm going to say is, if you are passionate about something and you have something amazing to share with people that will help improve their lives or improve their business, and you are also a profound professional that should be featured on our show, please reach out to us. But even better than that, be someone else's hero and ours. And if you know someone who is brilliant, a speaker, a business owner, or someone, again, passionate in their industry that just needs to be on this show, please introduce us to them. You can be their hero and ours. So what a win. And we will be happy to feature them. Now, before we say goodbye, Kevin, I would love for you to share one last piece of inspiration or information with our audience.
All right. So, Jessica, I'm going to go back and sort of piggyback in my own way about something you said a little bit earlier. And I firmly believe in this. In this life literally is 10% of what happens to us, but it's 90% of how we respond to it. And I want all of us to really think hard and carefully about how we respond to things, because that ultimately will dictate the ultimate outcome. So if something happens to you that you may not necessarily agree with, instead of letting it bend you out of shape, keep it in perspective and use it as an opportunity to teach someone else. So that's a truism, that's a reality, and that's something I like to always leave with people, because we don't want to make that ultimate mistake that might cost us our reputation or interfere with our character. So that's what I want to leave with everyone as we conclude our time together, Jessica.
Well, I don't know about what you think, but I think this has been an amazing experience and well spent time together. I think we've shared some amazing things with people, and we thank you for watching, and we even thank you even more for sharing. Now, I am, again, Jessica Koch, your host of Profound Professionals, and today our featured guest was Kevin Wayne Johnson. And until next time, be kind to yourself, and be kind to each other. And we'll see you on the next Profound Professionals. Bye, everybody.